Hello, Lurker Pals. It is Tuesday, and it is our stream. So, God's the, let me double check. Okay, yeah, I had some issues with my focus rate a little earlier, so making sure everything is working properly here is key to a healthy stream. So, it's been an odd week. It's been an odd Friday. It's not Friday, but it was an odd Friday because the Monday started out like crazy, and I hope everybody's week has been going well so far. I'm at the point where I'm so inured to crises that it's like, I've seen worse. You know, it's one of those things. I don't know if that means I'm damaged or what, but you would have thought infosec does some wailing and gnashing of teeth like nobody else I've seen. And Monday's discussion on the news about flipper zeros being banned was like peak, like, oh my God, what is Canada doing? Why are they doing that? And so for one thing, I don't think they've actually done it yet. They say Canada's intent to ban the flipper zero over car thefts it's an intent, right? That means somebody has proposed something. The problem is somebody in the media got wind of it, and like the Hackadays or the Tom's Hardware, which we'll talk about Tom's Hardware and how they fucked up in a minute, but which is sad, really. But so somebody has an intent of banning these flipper zeros for, basically for won't someone please think of the car thefts? We need to ban this thing, and there's a couple other stories here. Yeah, see, it says Canada to ban them. So they're moving to ban it, but I don't know if that's actually going to happen. I'm assuming that there's some kind of legislation going on, kind of like how the U.S. does, where we propose that we're going to, ban daylight savings time, and then it gets stuck in some kind of committee somewhere, and then it doesn't happen. So pursuing all so they haven't done it yet. They're pursuing all avenues to ban devices used to steal vehicles by copying the wireless signals from remote keyless entry, such as Flipper Zero. Currently, the country's losing 90,000 vehicles to car theft per year. Where are those cars going? Where's 90,000 vehicles across Canada going? Are they going to the U.S.? Are they getting put into shipping containers? And it feels like most things we see in our organizations, we see the thing that's causing the problem and we want to immediately get to it. And that's a security thing too. It's not just, ignorant people or management folks. We do that stuff too. We our system 1 and system 2 thinking is see a problem, fix a problem, when in fact that may not be the problem. And this is another one of those, and the knee-jerk, I think one of the biggest knee-jerk reactions in the previous century has been the Patriot Act, or the aftermath from September 11th. Content warning, if you were affected by September 11th, my apologies. We had a government that was, hey, let's go hit Iraq because based on information. We know now that was incorrect. But it's the same thing that we've seen with a lot of folks, and it happens a lot. See a problem, fix a problem. We have car thefts. We have this device that's being sold that will help with car thefts. Okay, we need to ban it. It's unfortunate, really. And so the government hasn't banned them yet. They're trying to, and at some point, so enough time will go by that I have a feeling that some people will go, oh, okay, so Flipper Zero is not the only tool that can be used to do this. Somebody, I think, mentioned an outrage on Twitter. Are they going to ban all SDR, or are they going to ban everything with that can replay radio connections or what have you? Are they going to ban computers? Somebody. So I just for those of you lurking or watching, thank you, one viewer. I appreciate that. Well, what was your thoughts? I mean, they haven't banned it yet, but the way you hear InfoSec Twitter say that it's a done deal, this is going to happen. This is, we're on our way to, being the, the pariah of, the world because, Canada doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. They're trying to ban something. They haven't done it yet, right? And somebody eventually will figure this out. Yes, $169 flipperz can be used to disrupt some devices, right? But I mean, obviously, as we've heard and seen, there are cheaper ways of doing this. SDR has been around since somebody took a USB TV tuner and was able to add an amplifier to it. I had one at one time that you could use to get up into the higher frequencies with that amplifier and be able to do those things. SDR software has been around for decades, so this is nothing new. I think the problem is it's such a cute little thing. I don't have one because I don't see any need to have one. I don't do anything with them. And so far, the only thing I've seen is people Beavis and Buttheading that they can open the charge port on my Tesla. So, hey Beavis, watch this charge port. I used to have a better Beavis and Butthead voice, but I don't know of any. I don't know enough about radio signals and replay attacks to say what is the actual fix. That's why I have smarter people than me actually talking about these things. But God damn. Okay. 1 second. Mike. I don't know who Mike is. Oh. Sorry, I've been buzzed at work. I don't know who Mike is. So let's see. Mike. Okay. Alrighty, there we go. Yeah, as long as you have something that's radiating a signal that can be captured and potentially replayed. We saw something similar. There's actually somebody posted that up in our Slack chat today. Where was that? Was it? Yes, here we go. Here's yet another thing. Another Wi-Fi jamming or Wi-Fi RF frequency kind of thing. Tom's Hardware, Wi-Fi jamming to knock out cameras. We have seen and heard of jamming Wi-Fi or disrupting or de-authing devices that use older wireless protocols, WPA2, WPA, WEP, ugh, gross. The new WPA3 is not available on every IoT device, and I don't know what kind of cameras he got there. Let's see. I don't know what that camera is. Some nondescript camera. I think that's probably an actor. They say a serial burglar in Adena, Minnesota, suspected using a jammer to knock out connected security cameras before stealing and making off with victims' prized possessions. Minnesota doesn't have a reputation as a hotbed for technology, so readers shouldn't be surprised to hear that reports of Wi-Fi jammers used to assist burglaries in the U.S. go back several years. Right. See, they've got is that a Ring? What is that? Yeah, image credit Ring. So that's a Ring camera and the Ring app. So, there's been stories about people who've had their packages stolen right off their porches and stuff. So, it happens, and this may be another place where flipperz could be blamed for jamming Wi-Fi or sending out another signal to de-auth the systems on the system. There's a number of different things you can do to do these different kinds of attacks, and this is just inherent in the Wi-Fi standard where the de-auth attacks occur, right? Yeah, after being subjected to a de-authentication attack. I was using those on physical pen tests to see how robust the systems were back then. Yeah, I mean, jammers are not legal to use in the United States, but they're easy to buy online, right? Exactly. Yeah. It's just one of those odd things that can occur. Where's my done button? Done. All right, there. But yeah, it's until we get, I don't want to say until we get, because WPA3 probably has a slew of issues as well. It will affect, people will find different attacks for different things. We've seen this in perpetuity. Encryption, security. I mean, WPA3 is probably one of the first ones I've seen where things like anti-spoofing and de-auth does not work or is less effective. I'm not saying it doesn't work completely. But as long as you have devices that can still support legacy protocols, you're going to have potential for things like downgrade attacks or what have you. This is a great discussion to talk about this weekend with our interview. I actually need to reach out to Jared and make sure that he's going to be on, unless he's on YouTube, chatting with me right now. Let me pop this out so I can grab it. Doink. All right, make sure I've got it available for me there. Okay. But yeah, he's going to be on this weekend. We're going to be talking about, threat modeling. We're going to be talking about solution, architecting. It's one of those things where you can actually show methods of saving money in the long run, especially if your organization has like a bug bounty program, for instance, and you can say, well, by finding this vulnerability here and during this time, we've saved ourselves X number of dollars. Some of these things, some threats can't be fixed. So you're either avoiding, transferring, accepting, which I think accepting and avoiding are probably the same thing, right? You're avoiding the fix, right? So risk acceptance. Right, risk. So you're accepting risk or risk retention as a conscious strategy of acknowledging the possibility for small or infrequent risks without taking steps to hedge, ensure, or avoid those risks. So there's avoidance, transfer, mitigation, and accepting. So there's also known as risk sharing. So transfer of risk to an insurance policy. That's interesting. I wouldn't exactly call an insurance policy risk transfer, because what if the insurance company doesn't pay it? That's a risk too, isn't it? So you could have risk on risk. Some risks are good, such as if a product is so popular, there's not enough staff to keep up with sales. I guess so. Yeah, I find avoidance and mitigation, transfer and acceptance. not acceptance, is it? There's not 3. Exploitation. I think some people forget exploitation is also a method of accepting risk. I look forward to having Jared on this weekend to talk about those things. But anyway, so this is about mitigating risk, right? You've got cars that send out signals, whether it be, I don't know if the Tesla. I would assume Tesla would be similar because it has a Bluetooth kind of connection. Because I have a Tesla. Miss Berlin has a Tesla. I know that when I get close to my car with the app on my phone, it senses the Bluetooth connection and then allows me to open my door. Otherwise, if my phone is not near me or near the car, actually near the car door won't open. So there is a, it's not a bloop function, which is, your little dongle that, will send out a message like that. But yeah, it's interesting to understand the various threats involved. And hello, Cybercoster. How are you doing? What did you have you read about the flipperz there, Cybercoster? What was your thoughts about that? If you've read the article. Doink. Dang it. There we go. Let me see. They have anything? I want to find out if they, let me see. flipperz, PC Mag. The company also referred PC Mag to an assessment from a New Jersey government agency that found social media had exaggerated the flipperz hacking capabilities. Most of the posted TikTok videos reportedly may have been staged and provided misinformation, such as modern wireless devices are not vulnerable to simple replay attacks. Serious weapon. I think, yeah. What's this? Sorry, I've got a handful of things going on. It's on there. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I would call it a weapon. It's a tool. I know people who have one. I haven't figured out what they're doing with them yet. It's one of those things, well, I'm going to play with it and I'm going to do things with it, and then I don't know if they actually do anything with it. Some people actually use them for work if they do any kind of physical pen test. But to be fair, physical pen test in 2024 is probably less than 1% of the entirety of the infosec community. Someone misused it once and it caused another person's insulin device to dysfunction and almost got him killed. Really? Cyber, did that make the news, or did... Because I'm almost certain that something like that would make the news. Was there a news article about that? Pirate software stream. Oh. Okay. Well, let's go look. Let me see. Insulin pump. flipperz. flipperz vulnerability. Now you know how this person doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. Curious if anyone has had messed with their pump using a flipperz or other similar hacking tool, or ever heard of this happening. flipperz is especially common these days. Seems like someone with bad intentions could possibly, well, yes, 100%. The flipper owner, if it is controlled via a sub-gigahertz or infrared signal, it is vulnerable to third-party firmware that has those specific frequencies unlocked. The OEM firmware will not allow those signals to be ran. Well, there you go. Okay. I'm not sure exactly what megahertz these devices run at, but I know most third-party firmware bundles for the flipper have banned remotes for these devices to prevent abuse. So someone would have to go far out of their way to find remote signals on the internet, or they would have to have the physical remote to copy the signals. Further, most people will go with a flipper as turning off somebody's TV or opening the charge port on their car. Exactly. This is what I have a problem with the flipperz. People buy a $169 device to open the charge port on my Tesla or turn off somebody's TV. Really? I mean, yeah. Oh, I completely, yes. I mean, medical devices that, if there's a signal that the insulin pump can take that will, from, yeah, and so I have had several outings with folks that have like the G7, the insulin measurer, and then they're able to pair the measuring device to their insulin pump, which is in a fanny pack on their person. And then, the idea is that the G7, the Dexcom G7 will communicate with the insulin pump and then, dose up correctly according to that so that, they don't have to stick their finger as much. No, 100% that there's definitely a threat there between the communication there, if it's a Bluetooth connection or if it's, God forbid, an RF connection. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. There is definitely not only is it could turn off an insulin device. Could there be a possibility of saying, okay, I'm a Dexcom G7, I've got a flipperz. I'm a Dexcom G7. Your blood sugar level is 0. You need stuff now, pump out as much insulin as you can. Or, there's impersonation, not impersonation, but it's like fake attacks. So it's like, okay, get the insulin pump to believe that it had delivered a dose of insulin to somebody when in fact it didn't. There's false positives, there's false negatives. So yes, medical devices are very dangerous in with regards to some of these things, and it could definitely cost somebody a life. My comment was, I like to see news articles about that. If you heard it in Pirate Software Stream, if they have a link to something or a story, that would be ideal. 433 megahertz. This is an interesting Reddit. If with the way our world is going, having everything going digital, these kinds of tools should be handled just the way guns are handled. So I will tell you, Cyber, that is not a popular view by a lot of infosec people. I have railed against tools for offensive security that are, I think we've all seen, tooling that has been released and it's, oh, hey, it's cool, it's research, it's whatever. And I'm like, bad guys are going to use this, right? I think, what was it? Was it Mimic? No. There was something that a good friend of ours actually made that he said was showing up in ransomware. And Mick Douglas had created some PowerShell stuff and had published it, and he said it was showing up in like ransomware. And there's Cobalt Strike, which was a tool used by pen testers for years, and then the source code got leaked, and now it's like the tool du jour for ransomware and bad people. You need to reach a level of security clearance. Did you see the tweet Jacoby posted about Flipper and his visit from Canada's CISS because someone in a nuclear power plant ran one of his payloads? No, I didn't see that. Okasi, thank you for being here. I did not see that. If you got a link to that, let me see it. I'd love to read the discussion there. Someone in a nuclear power plant, or nuclear, as one of our previous presidents said, nuclear, ran one of his payloads. Yeah, see, that's one of those things. It's like, I'm not a bad guy. I just, I don't use the weapons I make. I just, sell them. And it's like, there it is. Cool. I am Jacoby. Low key might owe Canada sort of an apology. Last year I got investigated by CSI. Oh, okay. So CSIS. Okay. All right. Yes. FBI. I didn't get in trouble or do anything wrong, but they ran one of my payloads on their work computer. They just happened to work in a nuclear power plant. Okay, look, you can't fix stupid. I'm not saying Jacoby's stupid. I'm saying the person who works at the fucking nuclear power plant is dumb as rocks. Unless, that person is a security person. Oh, there you go. Cybercoster, yeah. Well, I'm hoping somebody in Canada actually knows what the hell they're talking about when they say that they're the FBI, but I don't know. Um, that's nuts. That's nuts. Is there more of a story to this? The summary just seems like it'd be their fault for running stuff on their very important work software. Right. No matter what, someone is an idiot. Right. Oh, there you go. So somebody said, isn't Canadian FBI, they're like the CIA or NSA. There you go. So yeah, there you go. You're absolutely right, Cybercoster. Yeah. Apparently Jacoby did not realize that either. So. Mm. Yeah. Oh, good. Somebody came back and said the exact same thing down here. Good. Yeah, I don't. I just. It's such a nuanced discussion. I mean, on one hand, I get it. If we don't release these tools, the bad guys are going to release them. But the problem is, by releasing them, the bad guys get them. So it's like, are you showing the blue team, who are already, having to go to 8 hours of meetings a day and spending 16 hours a day working, helping them by releasing, brand new red team tool that there's no detections for, that bad guys are going to pick up and use in the next ransomware campaign? No, you're not helping the blue team by releasing this stuff for research. For me, it's the same fallacy as open source, where everybody's like, oh yeah, you can look at the code, many eyes on the code, many eyes on the code. And it's like, no, there's not many eyes on the code. People just run that shit without thinking. And yeah, I mean, so I think the big thing is they intend to ban them. They haven't been banned yet, as far as the news articles here say. They're pursuing all avenues to ban devices used to steal vehicles by copying wireless signals from remote keyless entry, such as flipperz. So flipperz may not be the only thing that they're going to ban. And technically, Canada could ban the import of those things. So you'd have to, do a midnight run across, Montana to America to go to the nearest, store to pick up your contraband flipperz. Just don't carry it with you to DEF CON and Black Hat trying to get through Ottawa Airport or Montreal or Vancouver Airport, because it'll be confiscated. Canada is banning everything right now for a very good reason. We have a population problem and we're bringing a lot of immigrants in, and we don't plan on stopping, so we need to bring up our security level right now. At least that's how I understand it. I'm no expert. Yeah. I don't know if it's the immigrants. And I don't really want to get into an immigration debate right now. I think upping security is good regardless of that. I don't think the problem I have with the flipperz and the suggestion of banning it is these attacks are not done at scale. Again, I mentioned, I think, last Friday or something. You can't do this at scale. It has to be one-off, so again, high impact when it affects somebody, like a stolen car. 90,000 cars have been stolen, but how many cars are in Canada, right? 90, number cars in Canada. I could just write a moose when I'm up there. I could probably do that. Okay, so according to the 2022 vehicle registrations in Canada, there are 26.3 million cars in Canada. All right, let me do some quick math here. Calc. See, I pop calc and I don't need a shell. I can just pop calc. All right, so let's assume 26. Let's just assume a straight 26 million. So we're going to lose 300,000 cars on this. Times 90,000 ish. Nope, that's the wrong. I got to divide 26 million by 90,000. That's 288. So that's one car per 289. So every 289 cars, one of them will get stolen. Hey, Age. Yeah. No worries, Cyber. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, right, 90,000. divided by 26 million. That's how you get your percentages. Fucking math, how does it work? All right, so we have, so if I divide 90,000 by 26 million, not assuming the other 300,000-ish, because I'm assuming a variance here, and it appears to be still going up in 2022 from 2021, so it edged up 1/3%. It is 0.003461, so 0.003%. That's less than 1% of the cars in all of Canada. So I have to ask myself, is it an election year? They say they're losing 90,000 vehicles to car theft. That's 0.003% of all the cars on the road. That's about how much making. I don't get it. Now, if it was 900,000 vehicles for car theft per year, one, you couldn't attribute that to flipperz zero. You can't attribute 90,000 cars being stolen to flipperz zero either. Oh wow, so I'm you're 0.002 per play. Wow, that's rough. Well, we have run in and everything is permitted unless explicitly outlawed. We could switch the other way around and ban everything unless it's legally permitted. That's kind of an American thing. But something is driving this, and I don't know if it's because the legislator, not Congress. I don't know what the fuck they have up there, House of Commons and what have you. Sorry, I'm an ignorant American. I don't know what their legislative bodies are up in Canada. It's a problem. Canada's Minister of Innovation, Science and Industry, François-Philippe Champagne, announced the ban on Thursday. So he announced the ban. Using sophisticated tools, steal cars, and Canadians are rightfully worried. Does he have the ability to do that? Banning the importation, sale, and use of hacking devices like flipperz to use to commit these crimes. So he didn't even called out flipper. He didn't even call out flipperz zero. He just consumer hacking devices like flipper used to commit these crimes. So it's not just flipperz zero. It's more than that. Parliament, yes. Sorry, Parliament, yes. My mistake. I do apologize about that. Canadians have been used. It's not even. Oh God, it's not sophisticated. See this. I think the list is going to grow. I think I clicked on a link. Oy. Oh yeah. CanSec West. Oh man, can you imagine having to move CanSec West because of this? Yeah, so actually, it's good that they wrote, because here's some of the discussion, especially from Dragos Rui, who said, hey, you can use screwdrivers to steal cars, yeah. Age of music, mis palabras están. Your snake is dividing. What? No, that's culebras. Sorry, I got that too. There we go. Yeah. So the science and technology minister up there, or innovation, science and industry, he may expand that list there. So. Now I could see making that an add-on kind of thing, like if you stole a car and you used a flipperz zero or some kind of technology to do that, there's additional penalties added to that because it's sophisticated. I don't know if you can actually, I'm sure they can ban the importation and sale inside of the country, but yeah, it feels like they should have made this if you use a flipperz zero to steal a car, we're going to add another 3 years onto your, and $100,000 fine, whatever that is in Canadian money, to the if you're found guilty. So I don't know what people in Canada who have flipper zeros right now are doing. My guess is they're hiding them. Imagining some kind of underground railroad kind of thing for flipper zeros to be immigrated into the United States. But yeah, this is the kind of shit you would expect to see from the U.S. People, not Canada. You always, I don't know. It's just always in my brain that Canada's a little bit smarter than us. Guess everybody can have a bad day. But lol. Yeah. Yeah. So, and it may provide an impetus to car companies to change to rolling codes or something more secure. I know that Tesla did have replay attacks a few years back, where the key fobs that they sold were you could do replay attacks that way too. Right. Well, I think you're right there. Flipper Zero's existing tech in a shiny package. It looks pretty, between, what's the, you've got either this or you've got some kind of, or was it, where was that thing I saw? It's like, you can do a Raspberry RF antenna. You can, you don't know what this does right here, but it could be an SDR, it could be whatever. You've got this nice fancy, packaging that looks pretty, and you can say definitively this is a bad tool because of the packaging, right? This is a bomb. This could be anything, right? This could be a file server. It could be, it doesn't matter, a bunch of shit put together here, making a Kubernetes cluster of these things, no telling what that is, right? If you're into SDR stuff, you've got daughter boards connected to these things. Here's another one. Here's another RFID that could be, used to clone. I mean, where does this stop, right? Badge cloning technology or something, banning, those kinds of things. So anyway, I've meandered enough on that. I think I actually didn't realize I'd burned 40 minutes on this. There's another thing that came out of Tom's Hardware, and remember, did anybody read the toothbrush article? So Tom's Hardware may have misquoted something because of I don't want to say it was a mistranslation or what have you. But so there was a story from, I'm not even going to bother pronouncing that, just from those folks right there. And I believe they're German, but they translated this using Google Translate, and they said the reports of this story are not based on a mistranslation by the media. The publication claims Fortinet presented the story as having actually happened and improved the text of the article, which had been submitted to Fortinet prior to publication. Okay. Security company in the next. So there was a story that was ran about a toothbrush DDoS attack, very similar to how Mirai IoT botnets were taking over cameras and other IoT devices that were considered simple and being used to do DDoS amplification attacks. Colgate. Oh no. You win the internets today, oh Cassie. You win the internets. Yes. Well done. So there was a story and it went out, and the initial story, here's the original article. So it says, according to a recent report published by these folks over in Germany, which you can read the original unless they've already, you paywall. Okay. Well, you can read the original article in the, original German or Klingon or what have you. Swiss, in this case, it's .ch, so it's Swiss. They said 3 million toothbrushes have been infected by hackers and enslaved into botnets. Source report says the sizable army of connected dental cleansing tools used in the attack on a Swiss company's website. So they tried to, figure out, toothbrush botnet, Java-based OS. There was a lot of discussion about it over the weekend on Twitter from infosec folks. And then, of course, the original update was, where was it? Fortinet sent us a statement indicating the report is inaccurate. To clarify, the topic of toothbrushes being used was presented during an interview as an illustration of a given type attack and was not based on research by Fortinet or FortiGuard Labs. It appears that this was due to translations on the narrative of the topic. And then update 2, it was not based on a mistranslation. So the publication claims Fortinet presented this story as having actually happened. Okay, so Fortinet said something to a German paper. The German paper said, that it actually did happen. Tom's Hardware is trying to save face here by stating that, that's just the German article again. What Fortinet is now calling a translation problem sounded completely different from the research. Swiss Fortinet representatives described the toothbrush as a real DDoS at a meeting that discussed current threats. So there's a lot going on with this story. Sounds like it was fake, or somebody wasn't supposed to share that article and it was still under some kind of NDA, or there's some kind of, media thing where it was like, hey, you weren't supposed to share that DDoS type attack. I don't know. Fortinet's global management backtracked on the statement, which was sent to various international media outlets. The company also failed to send this to CH Media. We've not received any further statements from Fortinet. Yeah. There's a lot going on here with this one. One, it's somewhat irresponsible media. Some PR company for Fortinet didn't, do the needful here and make sure that everything was correct. There's a lot going on with this news article. So. Okay. But it's fun and it's believable because we've already seen botnets being created from IoT devices. For those of you youngsters that don't remember Mirai the first time, no, not the car. Botnet. I didn't mean to say botnet. So yeah, it was a malware that turns network devices running Linux into remote-controlled bots that can be used as part of a botnet. It was first found in August 2016. Wow, that is a long time ago. I think I remember talking about it on the podcast as well. So, but yeah, so Huawei routers. I think that's what started the Huawei hate. Was it can be used for routers, and of course Huawei is a Chinese company, so obviously there's issues there. I'm surprised they didn't update this with the toothbrush bit. So, no. Yeah. But unlike the toothbrush thing, this is legitimately happened. Huawei ban still a thing? I think so. I think it's actually expanded, right? Huawei ban. I know Australia has banned them, right? Huawei ban. Yeah, so this was 2022. ZTE risk, ZTE, Huawei, citing national security risk, banned approvals of new telecom equipment from Huawei and ZTE, unacceptable risk of U.S. national security, adopted final rules which effectively bar the sale or import of new equipment made by China. So countries are banning the sale and importation of technology all the time. For the U.S., it's things like Huawei and ZTE. Canada's banning flipperz. Australia, I think, banned Huawei as well because they found it was running their NBN, their national broadband network. NBN Huawei. Yeah, so they blocked them in 2012. I think they actually did it before the U.S. did. $38 billion NBN due to cybersecurity concerns. So they have, um, but yeah, so that was a long time ago, 2012. So some of you people in high school or grade school or whenever the shit that happened. Um, TPG Telecom cancels Huawei supplied mobile network. So even as late as 2019, they were still selling Huawei product to organizations in Australia. It could be that maybe the chipsets were inside of another system that they didn't realize existed. Um, so, halt construction of its mobile phone network because it relied on Huawei technology equipment that had been banned by the government on security grounds. So, yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're always banning technology from certain countries. I just think that maybe the fact that it's more shocking is Flipper Zero is not made by the Chinese folks, or um, yeah, I don't know. I assure you from firsthand experience, Huawei hate is completely justified. No, Age of Music, there's, um, it's, they don't have to ban something. I mean, this was probably one of the first, I think 2012 was one of the first times we saw supply chain security being enacted by government, right? Of Australia. They can't trust their third-party vendor, so they're kicking them to the curb. Wow, we're just all over the place. IoT security, supply chain security, botnets, malware. I mean, we're just, technology, offensive security tool release. I mean, I've hit all the hot button topics in 50 minutes here on the stream. It's amazing. Man, that is good. Trying a new flavor of electrolyte post workout today. So, but yeah, I mean, it's Huawei hate is completely justified. So, Age, I would ask the question: what makes it different than Flipper Zero? Is it while conducting POC tests from 2017-2020 in telecoms on multiple countries, Huawei reps were actively trying to steal our IP every step of the way. They weren't even sneaky about it. That's impotent pandas. Stock and trade is intellectual property. So, doink. So there's the they're good at it, and they can beat us because they can do things at scale, right? I mean, how many years did it take us to make the stealth bomber, and then China stole the secrets to that, and it's like they have a mock stealth bomber in like half the time because they have the ability to, weird. What does that look like? Interesting. That looks very similar to another system that is out there. Yeah, B2 Copycat, the H-20 stealth bomber, is expected to introduce an entirely new sphere of dynamics. So, I mean, that's updated March 9th, 2023. So that was a year ago. And this is their version of our stealth bomber, which they probably built, after all, everybody's, after everything's been cleared out and everything's done. They borrow the data. They borrow the it's not hard because it's a government system, and you can, pull right into that. So potentially, I wonder when they borrowed that data. So that's interesting. Yeah. B2 flew 44-hour missions from Whiteman Air Force Base, Mississippi to Diego Garcia. Small island off the Indian coastline. It's not off the Indian coastline. It's 500 miles off of India and Sri Lanka and that area. It's not off the Indian coastline means like I could see India from there. I'm not saying that I could see India from Diego Garcia when I was there. One guy demanded we log into our server from his desk. I could see Wireshark running on his desktop. We gave him the wrong key. Oh my God. Wow. Age of Music. I mean, it's like they're extremely brazen about it. That's funny. Good Lord. Yeah, I mean, it won't be the last thing that China bans. I'm sure China banned Huawei as well, and nobody batted an eye. It's one of those things like, we'll keep banning something until people care, right? China Huawei ban. Yeah, so Huawei and ZTE were also banned by China in 2022. Wow, that's late. They're awfully late to the game here. Oh, it's the same guy. Look at that. Same guy says they'll improve Canada's mobile internet services and protect the safety and security of Canadians. Sorry, Canadians. Yeah. Really, in 2022, it took them this long to ban Huawei and ZTE? Wow. Damn. Damnity, damn. Yeah, it seems a little late for China, for Canada to ban Chinese companies like that in 2022. But yeah, hey, Digital Warhead, we're talking about offensive security tool release, flipperz, Mirai, botnets, electric toothbrushes, flipperz, obviously. flipperz, obviously. Yeah. Just a lot going on. Yeah, bro. Their technology dude, Francois. No, sorry. Something. His last name is Champagne. Francois Philippe Champagne. Though when he's not in the Champagne region of France, he's just known as Francois Philippe Sparkling Wine. So, yeah. Champagne just kind of rolls off the tongue more, but he's really just sparkling wine when he's not in the Champagne region of France. So, I'm sorry, that was a bad joke. I apologize. Yeah. You're absolutely right, Digital Warhead, and to our point, you put an antenna on a Raspberry Pi and you run, what is it, open source software defined radio, SDR. I mean, all you need is this, and here's a GNU radio and a little QT, and you can install this on any kind of device. It's one of those things. So if y'all want to make a clip of that Francois joke, I wouldn't hate on that. But yeah, SDR Angel, open source transmit and receive software defined radio. See, yes, I mean, the problem with Francois Champagne, so Digital, they're using car theft as the excuse, but as I mentioned earlier in the stream, they said that 90,000 car thefts in last year, 90,000 car thefts per year. There's 26 million cars in Canada, so it's less than like 0.3% of car thefts. So I'm trying to figure out, did number 90,000, was it Francois's car? What is precipitating that? And if they could have shown flipperz was made by some by Chinese authorities, or they could say that was made in China, then Digital, some of the other comments were, are we going to ban computers? Are we going to ban SDR software? You can go to rtlsdr.com and download the exact same thing. There's tons of different systems here that can do exactly that kind of stuff. So, I mean, this is a tool right here. Ham radio operators have similar SDR scanning capabilities. I don't want to say that. but I said that it seems to me that they would have similar technology would be able to do stuff like this. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, wow. Okay, so you can even do 3D rendering of, ADS-B and stuff that's going on there. So, but yeah, RTL or SDR. I mean, let's see, RTL SDR store. Yeah, you can buy TV tuner dongles and amplifiers that will allow you to do, any kind of scanning or, SDR stuff. So there's, yes, digital ware, it is ridiculous, but, they have to do something. They feel like they have to do something. It doesn't necessarily mean that what they're doing is right. And hopefully there'll be enough public backlash from people who are somewhat technical to be able to help them push that backwards. But, I'm sure the PR firms and stuff are watching those. But yeah, you can, if you don't want a flipperz Zero, you can always buy this and do your car, theft. So I don't know how much flipperz Zero was involved with the 90,000 thefts of cars last year, but this is another way of doing it, where you can go and buy those. So, yeah, I don't know. See, they proudly declared immediate action being taken to ban devices. Where do you buy one, right? Are they made in America? Or are they made? I see. Okay. Because if they're like assembled overseas, they could have said, "Hey, this is a problem." Yes, great. Yes. They do a lot of cool shit. Whatever. 915 megahertz, 433 megahertz. So I think LoRaWAN runs on 915. So you can do MyFair cards. If you look at this is, you could say that this is a tool that makes it easier to commit crimes. Now, you could say that. There is a little bit of work to be done, but these RFID chips, a lot of this stuff does require you to be within proximity of the system. This cannot be done at scale. It cannot be done remotely. There's a difference for me. Remotely versus adjacent versus like in close proximity. In terms of proximity, adjacent means like, within 30 feet, I can't be here and unlock somebody's car door in New Zealand unless there was extenuating circumstances. I believe the developers of the flipper are Russian. That might have something to do with the ban. I don't think it is. He is specifically calling out the fact of car theft in the country of Canada. So he says he's banning it over wireless thefts. So he says explaining criminals have been using sophisticated tools to steal cars, and Canadians are rightfully worried. Francois may be trying to run for prime minister or something, and this puts his name in the news. He might be running for office, might be up for election, and being seen as doing something. So I don't know. I don't know what's the impetus behind this. Why flipperz Zero became public enemy number 1 in Canada. So, but yeah, it is what it is. I don't have one. It's one of those things. If I bought it and never use it, or there's a reason for it, I guess. It could very well be that he's being pressured by certain paid consultancies. aka the auto industry, to, you know, I mean, he was at the Auto Theft Summit and he said this. So it's there's just a lot going on here with regards to that. So and it may not be the only device that they add to the list. Like he said, you know, pursuing all avenues used to steal vehicles by copying wireless signals. So, you know, RTR, you know, you might any SDR module might be banned in Canada. Somebody's going to tell him that won't make a lot of sense because there are like things like TV tuners or things that can be modified accordingly. But it's not the last. It's probably not the last we'll hear of this. It won't be the last. And if, you know, he wants to, you know, go full stupid, he'll add a couple more devices on there. So, yeah. Yeah, it's a little rough. It's a little rough. Let's see, flipperz can't hijack any car, specifically the ones produced after the 1990s, since their security systems have rolling codes. Okay, so the COO is trying to do some damage control. It would require actively blocking the signal from the owner to catch the original signal, which flipperz is incapable of doing. So wait, let me read that again. It would require actively blocking the signal from the owner to catch the original signal, which flipperz's hardware is incapable of doing. The stock flipperz hardware is incapable of doing that. Could there be daughter boards? Could there be add-ons to flipperz that would then allow for that? Or could somebody go to rtlsdr.com? I'm not showing the screen. Sorry, I highlighted this part because I find this interesting, and it's interestingly worded, right? And I don't know if this is because it's a PR thing or if they were interviewed for that, but the original signal which flipperz hardware is incapable of doing. Okay, fair. It's not able to do that right now, but it's extremely extensible. There are add-on boards. There are ways to make other connections. You know, if you go to if you go back to rtlsdr.com and you go to the store and you buy these things, can you send that information to flipperz and then cause the attack? You know, it's just interesting, some of the wording on some of this from, you know, not just flipperz but from the government dude, Francois. So authorities are reacting to videos. Oh, so there were videos online. Some clips even instruct users on how to configure a zero to match the keys fob, which involves being near it and capturing the signal. See, that's the point right there. You have to be near the car and capturing the signal of somebody who's trying to get in the car. This is the firmware I'm running, Rogue Master flipperz hardware with plugins. The stock firmware is very limited and locked down. This third-party firmware for the Zero that opens up its capabilities. The firmware on mine does support rolling codes. Digital Warhead, you're not helping. You're not helping. No, I'm just kidding. So it so the hardware is incapable of doing that, but the firmware that you have suggested here, the flipperz firmware with plugins, does allow for rolling codes. Sub-gigahertz rolling flaws version 1.5. So there's a bunch of additional scripts in this firm. Jesus. Good Lord. Okay. Lots of plugins. Lots of plugins. Oh, good. I can play Tetris on a half-inch screen or some. Oh, tic-tac-toe. Thank God we have tic-tac. Is there dark mode? There better be dark mode. I better have fucking dark mode on this shit. That's me actively modifying it. The firmware it ships with doesn't, so the product itself is harmless. Yes, but Digital Warhead, thank you for thank you for making this more complicated in a good way. In a good way. The COO of flipperz says that the original hardware can't do that, but you have firmware when you unlock it. So it's like my phone can't do XYZ, but if I unlock it, I can do all the other cool things that are not available. My phone can't do that with the default setting. Because we've open sourced it and we've allowed the ability for it to be extensible and to add daughter boards and other capabilities, somebody else has added the capability of that. So, so yeah. It is a quagmire. It's almost like the story, the guy, people selling guns, they can't be full auto, but if you, file off this little bit here, it becomes full auto. You bought the gun, the original capabilities don't allow it to do that one thing unless you actually make a modification to it. My phone definitely cannot capture, modify, and send MQTT traffic. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop here, Age of Music. You're about to tell me, but if I do this, then I can, right? And to Cyber's point, it's Cybercoster. It's you can it's extensible for a reason, right? So, oh, here we go. Got bloop bloop. Okay, so that's capturing the response. So you have to be near the car while somebody's trying to unlock it with a legit key or a legit fob, right? Okay. So captured. Doink. Definitely cannot get me free laundry tokens. Oh, see, we need to make that happen, right? College students will be, well, I mean, it does MyFair, so you can do bus tokens and stuff, right? It'll do MyFair cloning, so. How is this even legal? Oh, see, that's not helpful. He set off the alarms there, so, okay, yeah, those are not, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know how old that vehicle is in the background there, but it doesn't take much. And of course, we don't see what the setup is for this. So 433, what was that? 433.92 amplitude modulation, 433 AM. Okay. The other problem is there's a lot of fake F-Zero videos making, yeah, that's the other thing I think people called out on Twitter. It was like, you only see this much of the screen, and so, you see something going on here, you've got some jackass over here on the right-hand side, hitting the key fob to make that happen. It is very complicated and multi-dimensional here. Might require flipperz COO to go speak in front of Parliament. I got that right. So here's another video, a YouTube video about, okay, so one, you have to have the key fob nearby, apparently, according to this. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, so we've got a Yugo way back in the back here. My car is all the way over there, outside of the range of its key fob. Okay, it's a Peugeot standard key fob operating on 433 megahertz. Okay. Right. The antenna is limited in the F-Zero. In my experience trying to record my garage door opener, it had to be less than a foot away to pick it up. Yeah, see, this guy is like super close to I mean, if you have the key fob, you don't need the flipperz. You just steal the fucking car, Go back and press and record none. Okay. This kind of reminds me of the stories, the reports that I get from pen testers. They're like, oh yeah, once you've gotten root, then you go in and you do this thing to the system. I'm like, I have root. I don't need to go do the thing with the system. I can do whatever the fuck I want because I got root. Um, I'm not going to post this link because I don't want to be helping anybody. So you're going to find it yourself. But see, Digital Warhead, that's another problem with the hotel door keys. I would actually be more worried about that one than I would be somebody stealing my car. Because that's a safety issue inside a hotel room. You got some, traveling alone. I mean, there's a reason why, you've got people who are wedging things under their doors inside their rooms when they're there because one, housekeeping can come in because they've got a key, but you've got somebody with a flipper zero who can just, unlock the door, Yep. Okay, so he was able to go further and unlock his door. Yeah, you could probably upscale that antenna. Yeah. Yeah, if you have to be that close to the key fob to do the replay attack, you just take the key and go steal the car. So yeah, so I mean, it is multidimensional. There's a lot of geopolitical things going on here with this. There's a lot of technology problems here to cover that. Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. If I did, I wouldn't. I'd be making millions of dollars. But there's a lot of nuance in some of the responses from the folks like the Flipper Zero folks and what have you. And then the video we just saw there is like, if you in Digital Warhead's comment, you had to be within a foot of your garage door opener to capture that. So something that's infinitely expandable or very versatile can be turned into any kind of bad thing. That's just the way it works. Cyber cost, I'm 85% done with my Security Plus course. I'm tired and terrified of the tests. There's so much material to cover. Yeah, I don't know about the Security Plus because I don't have it. Having prepped for 2 SANS courses, one of which I did really well on and one of which I barely passed, it is daunting. So I hope you. When do you take the test there, Cyber? You haven't booked it yet. I would do whatever I can. The one thing I did was I always set my date for the test. That way I would force myself to study. First time I took the test, my GWAP, I actually had to do that because I found myself not studying or would put it off or whatever. And then it was like when I set that date, which ironically enough was in Seattle, like the first week I was there, it was like, make it work, make my index, whatever. With Security Plus, I'm assuming is it open book? Is Security Plus open book? Is it open note? Or is it like rote memorization kind of stuff? Negative what? Lots of acronyms? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I barely passed my GWAP. I scored a 70 on it. It's not open book. Oh, okay. Yeah, that does make it a little more difficult. Checking it. Yeah, fuck it. I don't know why I do that. Sometimes I get involved in Slack messages and it's like I shouldn't even be involved. Closed book, 90 questions, 90 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I haven't taken a test like that in years. I couldn't imagine trying to do that. I think the last one I tried taking was the PMP certification, and I failed twice on that. 80 to 85 are multiple choice. Are 5 of them like fill in the blank or essay questions? Essay questions. Sec Plus format, huh? Okay, so they have 90 questions. Ugh, God, so many pop-ups. Jesus. Do not sell my personal information. They don't have any of my personal information. What types of exam questions? Multiple choice, drag and drop activities, performance-based items. Interesting. Oh, I hate the multiple choice questions that have multiple response on them. I hate those. I am not a fan of those at all. So remember to manage your time wisely when solving these problems on your exam. Most of these questions will appear at the beginning of the exam. You won't see a clock when working on the items. Ugh. Wow, 90 questions. Attacks, threats, and vulnerabilities. Analyze indicators of compromise and determine types of malware. Compare and contrast types of attacks. Wow. Identity and access management. Oh, wait. So I'm not accepting the cookies on this site, so that's why it looks a little janky. Technologies and tools. Common security issues in deploying mobile devices securely. Risk management, explaining the importance of policies, plans, and procedures. Oh, they don't use a Harvard comma there. Related to organizational security, architecture, and design. Summarize secure application development, deployment, cloud, and virtualization concepts. Oh, crypto and PKI. Wow. Compare and contrast basic concepts of cryptography or implement public key infrastructure. Wow. My school tuition covered 2 vouchers, so it wasn't a concern for me. That's pretty nice. PBQs have you go through a scenario, and each PBQ has like 10 to 15 questions in it. Oh, that's nice. When I did my PMP, one of the things that I don't know why, but the PMP folks, especially like my wife who has her PMP, wouldn't tell me about the format of the test. It wouldn't tell me. And I was like, it'd be nice to understand what I'm going through, because it's like the study materials you have don't prep you for what the format of the test is like. And there's no practice exams for the PMP. So you get in there and it's a bunch of like scenario-based questions like, Bob is an operational manager for blah, 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 and he wants to do blah. And it's like, Bob should be doing this. And it's like, and yeah, it was during the pandemic and I was doing it at home and it was just hot garbage. You have to score 750 out of 900 to pass. It's like 83%. Yeah. Is going over Dion's videos enough, or do I also have to go through his notes? Wow. Yeah, sounds like Sec Plus isn't it's not a gimme. I don't think any of these are a gimme, really. Even CISSP was not a gimme. I can't imagine doing the CISSP today versus back when I did it. I was on a Scantron at the time doing it, so it took me 6 weeks to find out whether or not I'd actually passed. So, which is one reason I'm loath to not do. Oh, by the way, before I leave tonight, if it was an open book, it's a walk in the park. You would be surprised. We had 150 questions for SANS tests, and we had 3 hours to do it. If you don't write a tight, index or have an index that's legit, you can easily burn all your time up for that. So, just want to remind folks, we are a proud sponsor of B-Sides San Diego. We are a bronze sponsor along with Jack in the Box. So we rate about the same as Jack in the Box, except we don't have burgers and fries. And so looking to shape up to be a really good event. They are a nonprofit, so we'll be getting a sweet little tax rebate on some of that. And yeah, they're looking to be a good time. Hopefully, if you've been told you're going to speak there, we'll see you there. They still have tickets, I think. There are going to be about 400 people there, so it's not going to be a small event. It's actually going to be quite large for this B-Sides. But it is a single-day event. I think they're talking about what next year is going to look like because they're at San Diego State, so it's a really nice, large facility. But yeah. No, Cybercoster. I'm in San Diego. San Diego. Yeah, I'm down here. Yeah, yeah. Well, I moved from Seattle, so I can't beat the weather. Though through my school, I have access through Udemy and all the CompTIA CertMaster training. I've used all of Dion's material and the CertMaster material to certify. Not living the good life. I've just been 30 years in IT, and my wife has been 35 years in IT and security and project management. And so, we sold a house up in Seattle for almost $1 million to come down here. So yeah, you'll get there. You'll get there. Just keep your eye on the ball. People forget that sometimes, I think so. We have great weather. Yes, it is a bit nicer than what it is in Sandy and my old house. So let me see. Dunk, 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 dunk. This is where I used to live. It is 13C there, right? No, 9. There we go. Yeah, 8C. Okay, so it is a little bit chillier there than it is here. Yeah, but at least we're not getting snow, so that was something. We usually would get our huge snowstorm around this time of year. So, afraid of jumping into the exam with only watching the videos. I hope it's enough. Seattle ain't bad. It's just cooler there in Digital Warhead. But yeah. So I think I'm gonna go. I appreciate everybody for coming, and if you've got a differing opinion about the Flipper Zero stuff or any of the stuff we talked about, it's cool. I'm cool with that. I'm probably not the typical infosec person, so that is something that I like to believe it's a bit more pragmatic than what's going on there, and hope that we had some insights that we shared that were different than what you would get from infosec Twitter. So, oh my goodness, there I am. I am in large and in charge. Sid Heresy's on. Al Hazard. Oh, Al Hazard is doing Newbie Tuesday. Cool. All right, let's go grab Al Hazard. He's playing with Python right now, so you can go and hang out with Al Hazard if you'd like, and go learn some Python with Al Hazard. He is learning all of the things right now. So I'll be back on Friday, and hope you all have a good day, and take care, stay warm, stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Bye, y'all.